Morning.
Morning. Just finishing up a conversation. How are you guys?
Very good.
Pretty chilly over there?
Hey. Morning.
Yeah, absolutely.
Morning.
Yeah. It's cold here.
That's too bad. Unless you like that, then it's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, making a new relationship with the cold, with the winter. Yeah.
It's good. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's all mindset, right?
Yep, exactly.
Go ahead and invite Danny in because he's going to join us today.
Oh, is that what you're doing? Okay.
Okay, looks like he's not picking up, so let's just go ahead and start, and we'll add him later.
Okay. Okay, I continue working with the shipment zone stuff. I wonder if I need some sample files to upload in shipment audit. Do you have any samples files, Chuck, in order we can take the zone from there and insert?
You can. Sorry. You mean like we can look at orders that have shipped recently, and you can just look in the order file and look at the response. But
He's talking. I thought that the story
what you're
was to
talking about?
pull it from the audit file, from the file.
oh,
that we uploaded.
sorry, the audit part. The audit part. Yeah, there's both. We have to. Sorry, I might not be. Okay, so yeah. First, we had to add it to. I might have misunderstood your question, but yeah, because I
it's for
saw he'd
audit,
already
audit files.
for the audit. And a sample file. Okay,
Sample
so
file.
I think if you just go in, I always have to go and figure out where that folder is.
Because I will need to check in for some of them the name of a header, or some of them the position, because there is no header.
Yeah, you should be able to find those in the code will have the path to where they get dropped afterwards, right, Chuck?
Yeah.
Chuck?
Yeah, they do, and you've dealt with that before, Mario. I don't know if you remember where that folder is, but yeah, where we download the files from like FedEx or USPS, and then we import the data from there. And there's
There is a folder with the processed file, right?
yes,
Yeah.
I can't remember what it's called. But yeah, there's a folder where we move them to after they're processed, and you could just look at those. And we I don't know if we. I was gonna say. I don't know if everything gets a zone back. I don't know if UPS. I think FedEx uses zones. The most important one is is the one when we're getting it back from like. Probably all of them, because there's Mail Innovations and there's DHL uses zones, the same zones. So yeah. Anyway, just let me know if you run into any weirdness there, because I didn't look into everything there. But
Yeah, that should be very simple to just need to know the position or the name of each of them. And well, I will
yeah,
continue doing how to say a mock field for each of them until I could have the sample file. Well, I will continue with this. Also, I made a post to review the Sebastian pull request about the filter by IDs, and I was talking with him because I thought there were an issue there when you click filter, other filters are gone as well, not only the reported bug, but he mentioned that this is the expected result, let's say. So that's pretty much my status.
Okay, let's go ahead and pause here. Let's let Dan go since he's here, and then we can pick up after when he needs to go. So Dan, we were just hoping to get some input from you on some of your pull requests that you've been doing. What your timing, like, do you want us to be trying to deploy these right now during peak, or are these things that can wait until after, or what you feel like that is? You muted.
Depends on. Let's look at them.
Maybe if you could like give us some information on there in the PR, in the description, that would help.
I think the migration, so the entity framework indexes and the reprint request migration we should do.
Which one? I had
both
the
entity framework
entity framework ones, both of the entity framework ones.
Yeah.
Which is the reprint request table to date time offset.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, there's a chance that causes. I mean, I didn't see any issue with it at all.
Okay.
So, and it's also a table that is like not relied on, right? So, that's why I wanted to start with that one. But
Got it.
yeah, I did a test just so that you know. Also, I restored a backup of the live database to my local machine, and and did the order items table. I did the date time on that.
Interesting. Okay.
How much did that take?
How long did that take?
Yeah. So there were two parts to it. So the first part can be done with it being live. I mean, with it, so it needs to be down for the first part, which is the actual change to the table, and then it changes the data enough that for me to then do the updating the data in the table, I had to rebuild the table. I had to do a rebuild index on the table, which, if you look at the SQL script for the migration, after it does the migration and updates the migration history, it does a rebuild index on that table. That's going to be a standard part of that rebuild, is to rebuild the index, rebuild all of the indexes on whatever table we've updated at that moment. That took like 5 or 6 minutes, and I did it in a state when the database was not being accessed, so that makes it go faster.
Okay.
Hey Dan, a question about
yeah.
that. So you were rebuilding all the indexes actually,
Yeah.
even though that column was referenced or not. Can we do it to just rebuild the indexes that are daytime sensitive or?
Yeah, we could. You also need to do the primary index though. The primary,
Really?
the clustered index was actually what made the biggest difference. Because I tried rebuilding just the date added index, and it still was super problematic. Because what it created, when you're you have to rewrite the table. When you update the data type, it has to rewrite the table. So the table was at 90%, like 92% fragmentation.
I see.
So the table itself was just operating horrifically. So,
I see.
yeah, but, I mean, we could on some of the others, like not rewriting some of the other indexes would save time, and but in the grander scheme of things, it's better to just do it all then, because that's going to add, like, in the worst case scenario, it's going to add a few minutes. Because we have to rebuild the clustered index, it doesn't really, everything else is pretty ancillary after that. But yeah, the clustered index was really, really bad. So so queries against order items table were just, some just weren't even executing. It was terrible. So that's the only part that's better to be done with the database off. Now, the update script, I specifically wrote it to start at the newest records and work back, right? And so like, if we were to say, okay, everything can just be live again, right? There would be as soon as we did the first script, we turn on all the services and then start running the second script, right? It should be fine. There would be a time when, if you immediately went to the web application and looked at things, the date time that it would display would be weird.
Wrong. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And like, if the batchers ran, that could be problematic. Or if, like, actually it'd be more the file processing or something that would assign a due date. That might be problematic because the due dates would be calculated wrong. But as soon as you run this, it's going to be done through 100,000 records in the first minute of running that script. So all the most recent data will be updated and won't be problematic after that.
So it wouldn't even be a problem to start the script running for a minute and then start bringing services online.
Yeah. You can start. Exactly. You can start the script running, bring services back online, and then it will just continue to run. Because that script on order items on my local machine took 45 minutes to update all of the order items.
It's going to take a bit. And that one's not in yet. You haven't done a PR for that one yet, right?
Yes, that is.
Oh,
No, not order items. No.
Okay, right. Okay, that's why it's like, I didn't think so, but I was just
No,
clarifying.
not order items. No, but I wanted to test worst case scenario.
Okay.
Right. That's our largest table. It may not be the longest one to actually update, because we have other tables that have that are huge. That are like not huge. Order items is our largest table. We have other tables that have a way higher row count. Right. But and multiple dates, right? So those might take even longer than 45 minutes to actually do that second part of it. The first part should be the same or less. It should be less, because rebuilding the clustered index on the table that's the largest table is your worst case scenario, right? So that should be pretty tolerable. It won't be a huge issue. Again, even if it takes a day to run that, it's going to be through the records that matter immediately within a minute or two on any of the tables that we run it on. So yeah, we can definitely start the second script running, start up services. Nothing will really look. You go to the web, and by the time the web actually starts back up, dates and times would look right, because the stuff you'd be looking at, within the last year will be updated. So
Okay.
yeah. That's and also this batch size is 2,000. I did the order items table with a batch size of 20,000 because it was just 2,000 was way too small of a chunk. But it's
Right.
anyway.
Hey Ryan, do you want to run that in dev yourself? I would like to do it as well, but probably we can go together. I would like to see that running.
That's good. So we have not done that to dev yet. Is that what I read the comment?
I haven't. No.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
So we need to apply the migration and run the script. Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
It's been too long since I've done that for me to have felt comfortable.
Yeah, sure.
Changing any sort of active data.
I had also flagged the stop queue processing after next job to get that in, so that you could start testing that. Is that not? Because it didn't look like that was going to be a problem.
Yeah, I don't think so either. Like, if we never set any queues to fail,
It's never going to do anything.
And I was actually just looking at sorry. Yeah, I was just looking at the dev server because it looks like you've rolled it to death, correct?
I did do so. Yeah, I did push that out to dev. Yep.
Okay, so I was thinking I'll go ahead and set that flag and see if the server, if the services turn themselves off.
Oh, sure.
On dev. So I was about to do that when you called. So
Great. How about the removing mediator?
there's no urgency in that. Like, everything that does, it doesn't really touch any code that's likely to change. Even if you were to write a new domain event, you might have to like, you might like then when we merge that in, we might like need to remove the using statement. But
Right, just that.
literally that's it. Like,
Okay.
it's really low impact. But again, I tested it pretty thoroughly.
Okay.
And didn't have any issues with it. Sebastian also went through and
he did.
ran a bunch of, and he found some issues. But when I say I tested it thoroughly, there was one case that I really like pretty significantly overlooked. So I was very grateful that Sebastian didn't overlook it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good. And the make disable multiple queued items filter storage agnostic.
That there's no urgency on either. That's also very, very, very self-contained. But again, I've got unit tests in there, and I tested it, and it behaved as expected. So I don't think it's really a high danger. But
Okay.
if it were to go wrong, and we would have a bunch of downloaders running concurrently or file processes running concurrently, that could be seriously problematic. So I don't think there's any problem with waiting until June to do that.
Perfect. Okay.
Yeah, we're not going to be changing to Redis
Tag on
before
there.
June. So
Yeah. Okay. Those are the pull requests that I had. Yep. And then the question that came up yesterday is that we've been using, at least the earliest I have been, I think, but the GitHub Copilot, the code features, the AI stuff. I see that they're starting to charge in June. They're changing their pricing model.
changing
Follow
to
that at all?
usage based. Yeah.
Usage-based.
Yeah, I mean, it's fine.
Okay.
It will be. Here's what I wanted to do is there. I actually had planned to. One of my most recent pull requests, I added Agents MD and Claude MD.
We've been seeing those. Yeah, we've been seeing some of those come through.
So those are like context for what my beef with Claude is that it uses that Claude MD everything else has normalized to a more generic agents markdown. That so like Codex, Gemini, the Grok agent, those will all read the agents markdown, and some like Codex will do a transform on it to create its own hint.
Sure.
Context addition, but Codex wants its own no matter what, which is really dumb. But there's still more that needs added to that, but it's evolving pretty well. It's coming together. It at least gives enough context of our solution, and to keep it from being way off or dangerous, right? Like, don't try to run any debug only tests, right? So it hints those type of things. I've had trouble with GitHub. It's weird. I've had it work really, really well, and then I've had issues with it working at all. Like there will be times when I will go to ask, put in a prompt, and it literally just will not run. So I don't know if that's unique to my machine.
I did have that for a lot until I've updated the Visual Studio a couple of times, and it seems like that's got a lot better.
Yeah, so I did an update just last week, and when it worked, then it worked as well as Claude Code.
Okay, because that's what I've seen. I mean, it seems like it does a pretty reasonable job at looking for other files and making sure that that the changes that it's requesting are.
Yeah, there's a few key points. I'll share my screen. So that being said, also, if someone would prefer to run Claude Code, let's get a login. Let's get it going. I have it on my list of things to do, to have a training with the whole dev team about what I've learned and how that's evolved. Because, man, previously I was using the AI coding agents to like clean stuff up or to like do small changes. You can have it make a new entity. It'll do really well at that. Like really basic stuff. It will boilerplate stuff. It will do well. But what it didn't do well historically was like context about our specific application, and even our I've dabbled with, and one thing when I say that the Claude and the agents MD needs updated, one thing that I've been adding to it on locally is context of our operation generally, right? That machines relate to physical machines on our production floor, right? And having it understand that what this thing is doing is manipulating a manufacturing environment made it better at what it was doing, right? It would actually, I actually was able to get Claude Code to even make suggestions about, like, as I was prompting it on one particular thing, it actually said, like, I can't remember exactly what the context of it was, but it actually came back and said, well, for your environment, it looks like the best, the highest impact item would be reducing reprints. So let's focus on the data around that, right? And that was pretty great. Now, I haven't had it do that sort of thing with like GPT and even Claude. So this is Claude Opus is the one that really got good at understanding those things. It's also 3 times as expensive.
I saw that. Yeah, I was wondering how those translate and what we want to be doing with that.
It translates in this way that, like, if I look at some of the things that I was testing, let me see if I can get to my archived ones. I don't know where my archived ones are.
I am running right now one for the QC migration with that.
With Claude Code?
No Cloud Code, but GitHub.
Copilot.
GitHub. But with Opus?
Opus model, right?
Yeah.
Is that incurring to costs somehow?
No, it isn't yet. Like right
June
now.
1st it will.
Yeah, but it does limit you. Like there's a reason that it says 3x. Like you do have limitations. You could run up
okay.
on that limitation and it could just say you're done, right?
Oh, good. Okay.
Yeah.
The only
I can see the wheel
one.
going.
See these standard models. Those are the
Uh-huh.
only ones that are 0. See, that's 0. That is unlimited, and that
But not that
is also going to be going away, right?
Yeah.
Now, Claude Code, though, like when I got into some of these bigger changes, and I was using Opus. Let me see which one. Yeah, I've archived it. There was one. It was one of the early ones that I was doing. What was something that I think it was maybe the entity framework change for 8-time offset. I wasn't getting very good results from Sonnet, so I switched to Opus and I got significantly better results. It also started to rack up like $20 charges every 30 minutes. That being said,
Saved you a lot of time.
yeah, if we spent $150 for it to do, I mean, I still spent a significant amount of time in the code after it did what it did. I still spent a significant amount of time even working with, because at the same time I was learning how to best interact with it, right? I was making mistakes in how I was prompting it and not being clear enough on certain things. So there was that. But even my time on that, you know, that's something that would have taken any one of us 3 weeks. You know, with the learning and struggling and you know, maybe and you know, maybe in actual hours it only would have been like a week's worth of hours, because you know, but it would have taken 3 weeks because of other projects coming in and everything like that. But a week's worth of hours, I mean, yeah, spend $150 and let's get that touched all over the code. It was a major refactoring. That's really good. But what I was more impressed with is when I was able to say, let's make some new functionality, right? Let's spell out that I want to, like, I don't know, what stories have we got in there right now? What's something?
What was the one that,
working on?
Sebastian, we talked about one yesterday that you're like, can I
Is
use
the print-
Claude to read?
QZ.
Oh yeah, QZ tray.
Use it tray, right?
Yeah.
It's quite.
That is a phenomenal. In fact, so this is one that I tested with Opus, and it said, I even went as far as going the other way around on it and saying, you know what, let's get rid of QZ Tray, let's build our own.
Oh.
Write me a service that is an equivalent to QZ Tray that will run on Linux and that I can send PDF, PNG, or ZPL.
ZPL. Okay.
Right? And it built it. At the end of the day, I was like, you know, I don't want to maintain code for that.
That's true.
QZ Tray works really, really well. Right? That's
Yeah.
it wasn't that big of a project, but it's like I wanted to see, like, if I needed to get rid of, if QZ Tray didn't work for whatever reason, if something wasn't going well,
back up.
if I needed to get rid of it all, let's just make something, right? And it did. It, you know, it worked. It worked right out of the gate. So, well, when I say right out of the gate, with some tweaking and tuning. So, when I've been prompting and I've been learning that, you know, give it as much context about the things that are important to you in architecture, in what it should be looking at, let it learn, and then take what you've learned. And so if it says, oh, I didn't, you know, at some point it says, that's a good point, I wasn't thinking about that, right?
Yeah.
Then drop back to the Claude MD and add some notes in that will persist. Otherwise, it only really persists within the conversation.
Each chat, each conversation.
Yeah.
Right. Got
So
it.
if
That's
you
smart.
want it to be, so that's why I committed those, and those should be evolving documents, because that will start to give it more and more context. It will get way better the more we add to that.
Right, but we can split that into skills as well, right? Instead of
Yeah,
having
yeah.
the whole
Yes.
context traveling every time.
Yeah, but I haven't yet found anything that was specific enough that warranted it to be its own skill. Like that CloudMD that's not that big, right? Right now, I mean, even if that document was 3 times the size, that's not that much. That's not much context to have to give it that it starts every conversation by reading. I'm trying to, like, I thought about different skills. Maybe if we had a skill that was like specific to dashboards or something like that, maybe. But like at the end of the day, I feel like things that are the skills are more for things that are more global than even our application, right? So that it's something that if we were building 6 applications, then the skill is something that you want to teach it, that how we specifically want to use REST APIs within all 6 of those applications, right? So far, I don't see our context growing to the point where we would need to break it up that much. Because then the problem is you have to make sure that you load that skill, or it might load all the skills, but you're still loading all of that context.
Yeah, and it's hard to keep them all that documentation maintained, right? And well written. And
if you look at I started doing research on how those agents MDs get used and how the skills work. I mean, there are skills that are 20 times larger than our current, and those also only up your tokens by a few hundred. Right? And when I say like your billing is based on like your context, so how much, and the longer this goes and the more it touches, the bigger that your token usage will be, right? That's the amount of like augmentation to the standard model that it's building on the fly, right? The context that it's building on the fly. And that even gets compressed at a certain point. There's ways for it to compress that context and without any significant performance impact. So it does that automatically over time. I mean, I don't really see when I started to look at it, like you're gonna add a few hundred, maybe 1,000 token of context in what we're doing. So right here, there you go. That actually shows us. I mean, I think these two are, so of my usage, what I'm paying for, really my messages and it executing system tools is all that really mattered, because it loaded all the skills.
But skills is not CloudMD, right? It's memory files actually.
Yes, yeah. Skills, memory files and custom agents, maybe even system prompt.
Yeah, you see almost nothing, right?
Yeah, it's almost nothing. So if that document gets to be 5 times bigger as we add more to it, great. It's not going to impact our billing. It will just make it work better. It won't impact the speed. They can get big, really big. So I don't think it necessarily needs to.
Okay.
I wish I could look at my archive sessions, because I just archived a bunch of them. And some of them, I wanted to kind of go I'll figure it out before I go through a more in-depth training on it, because some of them I wanted to show like where I really wasn't doing a very good job of it, right?
Okay. If we're going to start using that, how are we going to change the things? I mean, the one that I'm doing, I do one commit specifically saying, okay, this is raw changes from GitHub, from Opus, right? And my next commit will be my human changes, because I want to expose what we wanna do in purpose.
Yeah, and this,
I-
that is something I haven't done as well, because, well, one is some of those human changes I chose. I'm not going to change them. I'm going to tell it to change them so that it learns from it, right? But
But I would like to see the things you want to change on purpose. Also
yeah,
for
and that's why.
right?
Yeah, and that's why that's why I wanted to go through my older ones as well at some point to show, like how I've found that to be useful. But yes, I think, and I don't know how well that works inside of the GitHub Copilot in Visual Studio. Also, I think by default it starts in ask mode when you don't get much from it unless you are in agent mode. Ask will only bring in the context of whatever you tell it to, whatever is already open. It will only go a few files deep when searching for other context. It's not great. If you do agent, then what it does is it will run scripts to gather the context that it needs. So like if you say, there's probably a decent example over in Claude. Like, where's the... No. I gotta go way up to where it was adding its own, where it was finding its own context. So, this is something that I need to add to the Claude code in general, is that, hey, we're using SQL scripts. We don't stop at generating the migration. We also run the part of the migration where it generates the SQL scripts, right? Because at first that's all it was doing, and so I had to explain to it, hey, this is right. There's more to the add migration script. It prompts. So I need to add to the Claude. It said basically it can't run that. Like it said, oh, I'm trying to do that and I can't do the continuation on that. So, I looked at the script. This is what it's doing. I'll make sure to do it like that. Right? I'll make sure that I'll build the migration and then build the SQL script. Right? So I want to add that back to our Claude MD so that it does that all the time. Right?
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, if you do need to modify it manually, that's something where you modify it manually and regenerate scripts.
And regenerate. Okay. And by default,
And
will
instead
it
of
run the
adding a
script?
migration, you can just regenerate the script after modifying the migration.
Okay, but it will not run the script.
No. And it will. It was running the script. Like in the Claude MD right now, it says run that script, but that script pauses and waits for interaction, and it was just saying.
Sorry,
it was
I
just
mean the
being done
SQL
at that
script.
point.
I mean the SQL script.
Didn't
The
run,
last
no.
step, it prompts you to write, exactly. Because it's prompting you for running the SQL script for you or
Yeah.
not.
Oh, I see. On dev, if you wanted to do that, yeah.
Right. The last step is say yes if you want to run the migration script.
Yeah. So, and
But
we could
it's
work
okay
on
that it doesn't run it because it's dangerous.
Yeah, you want to review it first, right? So we probably need to build a different script that then says, hey, either don't have it build the SQL script at all, just have it build the migration, and we have a script that builds the SQL script and optionally runs it, right? I think that would probably be the better way to go about that. But yeah, what I was pointing to was in agent mode. Yeah, it will do stuff like this. It's saying, okay, look, I need to know about the time zone, right? I need what I'm wanting it to change. It needs to understand about time zone service, right? So it will actually run the script and say, instead of loading every CS file in our entire, to build that context, it will just say, hey, find me any file in here that has grep time zone service, right? So then it will load those as context and build that out. The GitHub agent will do the exact same thing, but not in ask mode, only in agent mode. So yeah, when it's in agent mode, then it will actually kind of look across your whole solution and gather more context based on what it, the parts of it that it thinks it needs.
That's a pretty good example of me using Claude, if you want me to show it.
Yeah.
I've been using it for helping me with the planet stuff. Let me just show my screen here. You guys see that?
Yep.
So, I said, so this is my front, right? I need to do the same thing from dashboard and kind planning as I've done the envelope planning for it, and it takes a look. And then one of the things that caught me, I thought was pretty cool, was, it says before I implement, I want to tell you that the way you have it set up right now is not how it was set up in envelope planning, so it's going to change the flow considerably. And so this is kind of, just an example of how I work with it. And it points out some stuff. And so I moved some code in to make it match more mirror. And then you can see it says, you've added the code, now you just need to wire up the rest. And add the buttons in the view and update the JS. But it seems pretty good, and this is the agent mode that you were talking about, and why it's important to use that over the chat mode.
Right.
Because it will pull in whatever it needs, and it asks questions like this one. I thought was pretty good. Where before I implement, I want to flag some structural differences. I kind of called me out, are you sure you want to do that?
Yeah.
You're not really.
Yeah, and one thing that I've enjoyed with Claude Code specifically over the GitHub Copilot, although again, for the most part, I have liked that I can try Gemini 3.1, GPT, Codex, Sonnet, and kind of pin them against each other and see what it comes up with. I think if we continue to do that, we would find specific use cases where some are better than others, right? So far, Claude, Sonnet, and Opus are phenomenal, but I think that there are certain use cases where Gemini would shine, right? Or Codex, 5.3 Codex, and actually 5.4 Codex, which is about to be available through GitHub Copilot. That took a big jump forward as well, 5.4 Codex. But I think we just want to trial some of the different models and see that. But the agent mode is way better. One thing that I have liked about using Claude Code directly, though, is plan mode. So,
I can actually set it to plan mode.
Yeah,
Fine.
I wish they have testing mode, debugging mode, modernized code, profiler. Those are all great, but it doesn't have planning mode.
The Studio one.
Yeah.
That will tell you what it's going to change, but will not change anything.
Yeah,
right?
and you can because otherwise it will go through and make a bunch of changes, and then you'll have to say, hey, undo a bunch of that because that's not what we wanted.
That's what I did with QZ. I said, hey, do not change anything yet. Show me what you're going to do. Ask me a question if you.
So that's kind of how you ended up with it getting planning mode. Is you just asked it, hey, you asked the agent, show me how we would go about this, or let's make the prompt would actually be, hey, let's make a plan to do this.
Right. And the best thing was before I start coding, I got 6 questions.
Yeah.
That narrowed everything towards what I needed.
Exactly.
Right?
It helps a ton. So I think your first prompt saying, let's make a plan to do this. It's really, really helpful. we've got where is man, I wish I could see. Of course, nothing is coming up. But oh, here's the plan over here. Actually, am I not sharing anymore? Did it stop sharing?
Oh, it's because Scott
Oh, yeah.
is sharing it.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, for this one, where I was having it coming with the hang fire thing, said, you know, here's the plan. Now, this plan didn't look like this initially. There was but it does describe very well what we're trying to accomplish, where the what the approach is going to be, how we're going to go about this. And as you dig through it, I mean, I probably went through for the date time migration plan. I probably went through like 20 or 30 iterations on this, where it was like, you can actually see, I even went through a point of saying, look, we need to be more strategic about how we would roll this out. We don't want to roll out all tables all at once. That would, our database would be at its knees. I pulled a report from SQL of table size, and I pasted it into the prompt, said, here's the tables I'm dealing with. Let's make the plan, be aware, and do it in an order that makes sense, and go for low impact ones first, do them in sets, not all at once, make sure that I put that in and said, oh, I see, that would take days to do all at once, let's dial that in. So and at first, in fact, this is not the right plan. Interesting.
Yeah, orders wouldn't be the second.
No. So I don't know if I lost the right context for this, or if it later has revised it. Doesn't look like it. Yeah, and it broke it into different phases, because that's the other thing, is it did it all at once, and I was like, hey, we need to do this in steps. We can't impact everything all at once, so let's break this down into multiple releases so that we can build that functionality a little bit at a time. And it made like a 5-stage plan, and again, just kept revising. But yeah, you can see its recommendation was reprint request. That's one we just barely did first, and even that, I don't think this plan is updated. I think I need to go back, because there were times when I make the changes, and that's one thing that is much better about when you need to make changes to it. It's way easier to do inside of Visual Studio with GitHub Copilot than with Claude Code separately, because it will be working from a work tree, and you can't make changes to its work tree. You have to create a branch, make changes from the work tree that it's working on, make those changes, and then tell it, hey, I've made some changes on this branch, pull that back in, let's talk about what I just did. On Copilot, you can just say, hey, I made some changes to what you just did. You're kind of working on the same chain. You're working in the same Git, you're working on the same branch, right? For safety, Claude Code always works within a work tree separate from your main branches. And that I get, for safety, that's really, really good, but it does make it a little bit clunkier to work with when you're making changes yourself in between. And I haven't messed around with using Rider at all. I haven't had time. Learning a whole new IDE is not the most, not the friendliest thing.
No fun and not painful at all. It worked pretty good. I enjoyed it.
Now you're using the JetBrains agent, or does
I'm using Claude Agent.
does Claude Code have a specific plugin for that's right, because they have a plugin for Visual Studio Code and Writer, but not Visual Studio.
And let's see, they have Cursor plugin. I'm sure they have a Visual Studio. I haven't looked.
No, they don't.
But you can run it from terminal.
Yeah,
You have to run it in terminal, exactly,
Right.
yeah. I've just been using
which I hate.
Claude Agent.
Mm-hmm.
Which they have.
Yeah, I looked, and I want to say neither Codex or Claude has Visual Studio plugins. They have Visual Studio Code
Oh,
plugins. Yeah, they have VS Code plugins. But I've tried to use our solution in VS Code. It's been like a year, and I know that it's getting better. Like using VS Code for larger C# code bases is getting better all the time. But as of right now, it's still not great. It's not great. So that's great that they have the plugin for VS Code, but I can't use VS Code for our code base. Yeah, and there's somebody that like created their own
Yeah.
Claude Code.
Cloud Code
Right.
integration.
Yeah,
Oh,
but I think essentially all this is a window to the command line. It's the same thing as using
Yeah.
CLI, right?
I had it back. I thought you were asking me if Writer had a Visual Studio.
No.
I'm catching up.
Claude, there's an actual Claude Code plugin for Writer, correct?
Yeah, correct. That is correct.
Made by Anthropic, right?
I think so. I don't actually know. It's a first.
Or maybe it's made by JetBrains.
It might be made by JetBrains.
No, it's made by Anthropic.
Okay. Oh yeah.
Yeah. They're doing everything but Visual Studio.
Interesting.
Yeah. But I'm also okay with like if anyone wants to switch to Writer, I'm happy to license it and you give it a shot. I've been working on it a little bit, but so far there were some things that Scotty, I was going to ask you what the magic sauce is on using it on our solution, because I couldn't get there were some things that were not working at all.
Oh yeah. I can help you do that.
And also debugging was something that I was not getting a great experience on.
Oh, must have been. I quite like the debug.
Yeah, no, I mean when I say not getting good experience, it wouldn't start the debugger. So
Oh yeah, that's a problem.
yeah.
I can see why you want that.
And also I was a little nervous to start certain projects with the debugger because I couldn't because I don't have the same startup definitions, right?
Oh, you should on the top right.
Well, it didn't. At least last time I updated between last time I used it and this time. So
I was just using
Yeah.
Windows.
Okay.
For web core. The one above is the debugger, not
Yeah.
live.
yeah,
That's one I would use. I always end up just
yeah. Again,
making it-
the update might have fixed it all because I was on like 2025 1.
Oh, they didn't change it. In fact, the newest update added the package manager console for NuGet, which is super nice.
Yeah. So
And
I'll
open to other stuff.
poke around at it. I do like its Git integration is great. Why is it not showing my upstream? How did you resolve that?
Why is it asking me for GitHub?
Well, because on my machine I also added it to GitHub.
Oh, I see.
because I've been trying the actual like agent coding, where, yeah,
Where it uses that whole, like you said, it's on its own work tree, and it's,
yeah. Well, and it runs in the cloud. It doesn't run on your local computer. You can plug it into your into, like, you can assign it stories, and it will just run them and put in a pull request. So I've been trying that. To do that though, most of them only have GitHub integration for the code bases. And I was also trying out a Google Juliet. Juliet, not Jules, not Juliet. I haven't updated this in a while. But this is one where it's not an actual coding agent, but instead it just monitors your GitHub, and it will just make suggestions. So it will look through your code and how it's changing, and then it will say, "Hey, we think this could benefit from doing this."
Or maybe like even consistency pattern type thing. Like, hey, you writing this?
Yeah.
And it kind of
Yeah, it has a bunch of different things that it modifies, like here, performance, code health, security. There's a test improvement. So it's at this point it was saying, hey, you probably need some tests for these places that were modified, right? So it just continually monitors it, but I could only connect it to GitHub. So this is also old stuff because this repo is old.
Right.
But I should, anyway, I need to get back to, need to push master out to it again and have it review, but it's pretty good. As far with what it's, so far I have not paid anything. I'm on a pro plan by the nature of me being a Google One subscriber. And there's a certain amount of usage that's free as part of Google One, and I haven't hit any limit yet. Yeah, I mean, if we get really into this, then we could also build our own MCP if we wanted to get into data analysis and stuff, but which render allows automatically fix review but there's interesting. That's new. Yeah, anyway, it's yeah, let's see what security vulnerability it says. I don't understand that. I need the context. PDF. It's saying that this is a potential security for PDF from HTML.
The random parameter string. Oh, is it just connect? You can't use it directly.
Oh, it's literally just saying, hey, you should URL encode it.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my gosh. That's a lot of context to say URL encode this.
Yeah.
Great. And when it makes the suggestion, I'm pretty sure you can say, okay, go for it, and it will just do it. I'm not seeing where I can say that. Probably.
Yeah, I couldn't see where, but it does say
do it.
The security fix.
Okay. Well, yeah, I'll gather some more information on it, but I think that's a general overview. Like I would have it take a stab at most anything that you're doing, only for this reason, to start building more context.
Yeah.
To see what it does, and then say, well, how could I make it do it better, and add that to the MD.
And the other thing too is I feel like it's changed the way I code a lot, in that I try and code in a way that it will understand the pattern that I'm doing or that I want.
Yeah.
So if I duplicate, like I was showing you with the case or the planning sections, a lot of that is going to follow the same pattern. So I try, at least that's something I've been trying to do, is code in a way that it can follow a pattern, or it knows, it doesn't need to think about how to do it. I don't know exactly what I'm trying to say, but
Yeah. So that you follow the same conventions and structure.
Or convention.
Yeah.
And so I've been trying to.
Which that points to another architectural issue for me, as I've been in the code more lately than I have been in the last year and a half or two. We have some pretty serious IOC and cross-cutting concerns through our code base. We have stuff everywhere. We have similar functionality in places, in two different places. I think we need to kind of say, look, let's dig. Yeah, well, let's not have as much code in the controllers on web core. Like, yeah, that should be pushed into a service layer, into the API Central layer, into we have a lot of functionality at the models level that is not really model specific, right? We put things like changing the status at the model level because it's something that we wanted to be consistent absolutely everywhere it was done. Never change the status directly, always change it through a status changing function on that entity, right? That makes tons of sense. There's some others that are like just straight up functionality, right? That should live in the business layer rather than the model layer, right? And same thing on the and the integrations. That application is a mess, and what's there versus other places doesn't make a ton of sense.
Trying to move away from.
Well, I don't mind it. I mean, because
not move away completely, but like you said, kind of rethink.
Yeah, one thing I would say is like you do want some of your core pieces to have very few pieces of dependency, right? They should not have many dependencies of its own. So this is mostly like functional dependencies. This is all fine. What I wouldn't love to see is like something that is very, that's where the integration layer kind of comes in handy. Is like, the Unify. Like that's not core key functionality. I don't want any dependencies around Unify to be in our main project, right? So yeah, I don't know. I need to document a lot of that though, because I'm just seeing a lot of stuff where it's like, I don't know where this is. This is in places where I don't think it should be.
And we don't really have a service layer, actually.
No, we don't.
So that's the
we kind of
dev.
Yeah. We kind of. Yeah, our service layer kind of lives in 6 different places. Right, we've got some of it in job worker,
APA Central has a lot of the services.
A lot of the services are in Central, and a few of them are in integrations.
In integration, right. So maybe integration needs to be services instead, and move things there.
Yeah, I would say actually, like, let's see. Integrations to me is external resources,
Or out.
right? So
Would you consider digital shipping external? Meaning,
yeah.
I understand.
So what I think is like the shipping. See, this shipping client, this iShipping client, that should actually live. That should live in APA Central. The implementation of it that relies on Shipwise should be at the integration level, right?
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. This is your service. This integration layer is the implementation that goes to third-party things, so we don't have any third-party dependencies in our core application, and that
But
there's
we
a
offer
clear delineation of where and how you plug those in through interfaces at the base level. And that's how you create your service layer, is because those interfaces are at the base level. The core level, APA Central should say, here's how you interact with me, right?
This is how you would build a service.
I know what a shipping client is. This is what I know about a shipping client. If you want to interact with me by being a shipping client, here's how you do that. Then the actual implementation of that elsewhere, right? We have a lot of implementation in Central, right? A lot.
Right. So maybe integration should be called infrastructure, right?
Yeah,
where we have
I think
implementation.
that the reason that it's called integration, so it's kind of coming from the testing side of things, right? Because you have functional tests, you have integration tests. Integration tests operate against actual functionality. There's places where you won't mock, like when you do an integration test, you don't mock the service you're hitting, you hit the service. Right?
Yeah, maybe
anything that Central itself integrates with, so digital shipper, Shipwise.
Yeah.
Right. At the beginning, it was most external than internal, but now we added external.
I don't think
Right?
This is your service layer. Like,
yes, but
this
we have to test a few things.
Yeah. So, and this is what shouldn't be in here. Like, integrations should only be external. Then our service layer would be our internal implementations of services, right?
Yeah.
Like we have internal implementations of, I don't know, notification service, processing service. This is the basis of like a service layer, and that really should be in the service. The reports should not be in here at all. That should be, I don't know.
Yeah. And we don't have any core service like orders service where we can deal with statuses, or batching services where we can run a lot of batching logic there.
Right.
There's
we should be implementing those as services. And I am working on removing the extensibility framework as well, so that we won't use plugins the way that we're using them. They will be very similar, where we will have like a plugin container, but I won't use MEF. You will actually have to reference because there's no reason now, the way that we are using these, there's no reason not to reference the actual plugin in whatever our deployment application is, so that it deploys.
Look up by the
name
instead of doing that.
No, we will still look it up by name. We'll look at that's what I'm doing, is repeating that type of functionality through our standard dependency injection.
Gotcha.
The reason for that is because we can't use there's some dependency injection that doesn't work well through the MEF layer. So there's a bunch of places where we hand things off, and our dependency integration breaks, and so we've created like static services or static implementations of things because our dependency injection doesn't work across that MEF layer, the managed extensibility framework. And that's why I would like to remove it. So it will be a plugin model, and actually, technically, I could probably have it actually like discover plugins in a similar way, but I don't see any reason we shouldn't just reference the plugin projects and in like services, and then define the plugins through dependency injection, right?
Yeah. I think that makes sense. I think it's similar to what I'm doing for the case making handlers, or not case making, the planning handlers stuff, where you put each handler as a dependency injection, and then I have a thing that you can get one based on the name.
Yeah, exactly.
But they're all
basically I'll just add like a layer that allows you to, part of the interface is literally that the interface says you gotta have a property called name, so that I can interrogate anything with that interface by name, get the right one, right?
Yeah, I think that's what I'm doing for the handler stuff.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna be doing that separately, but like the reason that we were using the extensibility framework originally with plugins was because was largely for like configuration and to have that functionality like very, very separate, like as separate as possible. We have these injection points, these plugins know how to deal with those injection points, but I think we've essentially built it down to where these are mostly just operators of this inheritance structure, which doesn't really need that. Yeah, that just doesn't really need what we were doing. Yeah. So anyway,
okay.
And we've pretty much, the other part of it was the configuration layer, but we've pretty much removed all of that from any of them. Like I don't think we have a configuration. Maybe if we have config on any of them, it would be this one.
Or Fuji, where we connect to external services as well. So that one might be harder to migrate.
So
where we have,
I think we just have to find a different configuration method to use for the ones that actually need configuration. And I don't even think, that's the other thing, I don't even think this is actually using most of this. I think most of this has been rewritten to use different, like,
it's probably
database configuration, but
yeah,
we'll need to find everything that's using that. And I mean, honestly, it's also not that different to just hard code some of this.
Right.
So anyway.
Yeah, it's not stuff that ever changes.
Yeah. Yeah, so, and it's so few of them. I think maybe you said Fuji might use its config. No.
First, the service references, that's...
it has a service reference, yes.
What makes it different, right?
That is true. Yeah. Yeah, it's service reference. And on those, I think that would be a case for it being its own project. And a bunch of these others, we could probably we could probably just remove the minted project and just have like a, we have a standard one. Where is it at? Your standard API. Just because this doesn't necessarily mean that it has to be standard API. We could actually just call this, instead of standard API, just like general, right? Yeah, general plugins, and just drop a folder in here for Minted and put all of the stuff for Minted in here. Then we don't have to have as many references as well, and like then the only thing that we really would have to do is if it does have a specific dependency, but that's pretty rare.
Yeah, it is. So
we removed Telerik reporting.
Yep.
Everywhere, right?
Yep.
Okay. Then I'm very, very confused by us having a reports project with like these 2 reports and all of our other reports being in integrations.
To confuse the British.
those are
Even all of them? I think that's just some.
No, yeah, I think we have reports dispersed.
Yeah, but
What
there's
was
some
the
in the
record
controller
project?
or in the core too.
the record project. I think those are public static methods only. Oh no, that was removed.
No, this is like a
Yeah.
billing
Right.
report and Acumatica report. Yeah, I don't know. But that's a weird last 2 things to be in there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like I don't know. And I know we have like 2 report models right now, right? Like we have closed XML, and then we have HTML.
Yeah. I think those XML just used for the billing reports. Or that billing
I think so.
report you're talking about.
Or anything that we're exporting Excel files from, which may only be those. But yeah, and then that brings up another point on this though, is like I really think we should switch this to either Razor page or handlebars. I mean, it'd be pretty easy for us to then have instead of all of this HTML right here, have like reasons for reprint.cshtml
Right.
that you push a model into and render. Because this becomes really hard to visualize and to edit.
Oh, that makes sense. I like
And-
everything.
Yeah, there's a lot. We keep following the pattern, and we don't stop and try to refactor.
Yeah. That I'm gonna actually add that to my.
All right. Well, if this is a good pausing point, then that would
Yeah.
be finish up with action. Stand up here and
If-
we can get our
If you
deploy out.
guys experience a lot of issues with GitHub Copilot, if you find it falling short in some ways, let's get you subscriptions to other tools and try it out and start honing in on what works best.
I would like to, because I was about ready to switch over to TriWriter anyway, because I've been
Yeah.
frustrated with some of the things in Visual Studio. So that would be great.
we'll say Writer can be a bear on the
I know.
resources.
I've got somebody right here that I can pick on. I mean, it worse than Visual Studio.
It's pretty,
Yeah.
it is pretty good.
Okay. Well.
It does like
It likes resources.
Okay.
It likes using your system. Yeah, I think, I already have the Claude plugin. I also have the Codex plugin, I think. But is the Claude Code plugin just the terminal? That's garbage.
No. Click on the weird circle thing next to the Claude, the AI, that thing.
Yeah, but that's
what I use.
that's the JetBrains one.
Well, no, because then when you open it inside it, you can change the agent at the bottom there.
Yeah,
on the bottom right.
But it goes through them,
Yes.
right?
That is true. I have the AI Ultimate. That's about it.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to. I'd have to dig into that because you can change the model, but there's some of what. It's not just the model. Like Claude Code also has the skills and tools that are different than just the model, right? It's similar with GitHub. You can change it to Opus or to Sonnet, and you'll get that better thing. But the tool set of like skills and other things that you can add to it for it to that's very different.
If you click agent though, it's not the model, it's the Claude agent. So go down, or maybe you're just out of date, but where it says agent next to GPT 5.3 Codex.
Down.
That's Copilot. This is Copilot.
Why? No.
It says right there, GitHub Copilot.
Oh, sorry. I'm telling you the wrong one. On the right side, up from Copilot, like 3, a little that. Click that. Click agree or whatever. Now change that Codex to Claude Agent. Because that lets you add the skills and so yours says you're out of date or you're. So let me show you mine. Real quick. So now you have Claude Agent. You can change the mode. You can change the model. You can change the effort, but then you can also add the skills.
So where did you have to install Claude Code on your local machine? Does it interact with Claude Code directly?
No.
Is it still?
No. It's still, I think it uses their API.
Yeah, so it's going to be uploading our code to their server to do any of that, or how much is it executing local?
That I don't know. It seems like it updates, or it uploads quite a bit.
Why am I not able to set it to, like, I can't.
I think you need to update the plugin.
Update the plugin? Great.
Yeah, the AI chat plugin.
Of course. Where are the plugins? Love this.
Go to the menu, and then settings, and then plugins. Should see. But since I stole your share, we're not seeing your screen anymore.
Yeah.
Oops. Okay, you can put it on mode, don't ask.
Yeah, the other thing that I've actually enjoyed about Claude Code is I'll do 3 things at once.
Yeah, there's probably a bit of benefit too.
And if you're using it in the IDE, you can't really do that.
Yeah, no, it's.
But when I say, hey, analyze this and do that, it can take 15, 20 minutes sometimes to formulate a plan, and then I say revise this, and so I've been working. I mean, you've seen the pull requests that I've done in the last few days, like, so those are like, I'm contributing some of my own code to that, but most of it is just started with these, and I'm doing them all concurrently, right? Like it's going on. I'll share again. I need to remove some of these work trees, but like here's all the work trees that it's been working on it, and like so a bunch of these are. I've just been doing them concurrently. That's what I have really liked that about, because I'm not sitting around and waiting while it does its thing, right? I'm just, and I can be coding something. I can be coding, so I can be making my own code changes to one of its branches in Visual Studio while it's working on a different work tree in the different conversation window, right?
Which is awesome.
And I found that to be really useful when I was using Codex as well. Well, because Codex has a Windows desktop app like Claude Code now, and it was essentially the same.
So each one was working on different branches?
Yeah. Yeah, you can have
How does
multiple
that work?
conversations going.
Its own branches, but in the local file changes on your side.
No, it's
On the
work
disk.
trees. So there's a little bit of a difference between branches and work trees.
Oh,
Um,
explain that, please.
Work trees are awesome. So you can basically have
It's kind of like a mirror of the code.
instance. Yeah.
Look,
Yeah.
you have multiple branches checked out at the same time in different folders, all sharing the same underlying repository
Yeah.
history. Fascinating.
Yeah. So I used to
Wow.
use them when I'd work. I'd have a long running project going on Codebase, but then I'd also need to do, bug fixes and quick stuff.
Is that a Git feature?
That's-
Or-
yeah.
it's
it's
a Git feature. Yeah.
Yeah. It worked tree.
Oh.
But you don't run into it that often with the UI tools because you're generally working on one thing at a time. That's all you can really do, right? You could actually use work trees to do something like to be changing the application in Visual Studio and Writer on two different things. Right.
Yeah. Yeah. You can,
Interesting.
But yeah, Codex. Claude Code desktop does everything on a work tree. It doesn't have to. You can actually set that whether it's going to like in a new session. You can say I can uncheck that work tree, and then it'll just work on whatever branch I'm working on. And I will do that later in the process. If I'm trying to actually actively collaborate on the code with it, that's where I go away from the work tree. But I always have it doing it initially on the work tree.
I see.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
So yeah, I can have it be doing that. That's where I like this being separate from the UI. There's some there are drawbacks. There are positives to like visualizing it in the IDE is really nice, right? But
Seeing the code that's
I mean, yeah, but and it keeps even that seeing the code that's changing. I mean, like it shows you what's changing. Like every time it's
does a
making
pretty
a
good job.
change.
Yeah.
It does show it. What you don't have is the context. I can't like browse on this, right? So then I have to like go to Visual Studio and start looking at have I found all the references? Have it, how thorough has this been, right? But it's it will do a build and make sure it builds. It will run the standard pipeline test or the standardized test and say, well, whatever we did has created a failure on this test. It also when it found a test failure, it switched back to master, ran the tests again, and said, hey, that one's also failing on master, so I didn't do that. Right.
That's pretty good.
So, yeah, using the agent mode with a disconnected, like, at first that really bothered me, but once I started working on multiple things at the same time, it was, that's just huge. So yeah, that's where I really like that. But I'm happy to jump in and get some licenses to Writer, to the right tool within Writer for this to Claude Code, the codex. Gemini has a I want to say that they are they just came out with it. Yeah. So they have a similar thing. Where you can run your own and honestly, I think there could be value in being at least familiar. So if you wanted to just download them just for the familiarity of them, only because which one is better changes every 3 months.
Mm-hmm. They're fighting each other right now, which is awesome.
Yeah, which is where the like in IDE version of it is nice because you can just switch between them, right? But
you gotta search that, or like KE in the search bar.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, so like it is nice that you can switch between them using GitHub Copilot, but again, yeah, and if that's the way that you prefer to work and that works really well for you, I'm totally game for it. Just again, my suggestion would be use Agent. See, it still says it needs updated. So how do I update a specific agent?
Can you click on that link?
Yeah, okay. I would love to.
Inside of the
Oh my gosh.
That one.
Because look at how it's like a little bit below it and to the and so as soon as I tried to go over to the link, it was like it was disappearing on me.
Yeah.
It was obnoxious.
Oh, man.
Thanks for that. Anyway, I would at least I think it would make good sense to download them all, and I haven't downloaded the Google one yet. It's really new. I have Codex on here. I've tried it. Yeah, just so that you're familiar and can do that, because I think there is a lot of value in doing this. The one tough part about it is if you are using this. If you're using the JetBrains, then we would be paying a license for the JetBrains thing, and then it's passing through to pay for Claude. Yeah. Where the desktop one, I'm paying Anthropic, and I can't just say, hey, GitHub, use my subscription, which means I kind of have to pay for it twice if I'm going to use it in both ways, which kind of sucks.
The JetBrains one is you can change.
Is there not
right, that's what's nice about GitHub.
I thought I said that.
There is. It's essentially a command line. Look, all it does it literally just launches the Claude Code command line.
Okay.
Which, I mean, the truth is that's not that different than this. Like, you are just having a conversation with it, but you do get the nice visualization that you don't see from the command line. You don't see. There are some really nice things that come from that, but anyway, and I hate the way that permissions works on if you downloaded Claude Code and started using it, the permissions on it is ridiculous. Even on accept edits, basically it will ask for permission to run any like grep or so. For some of it, as it's gathering context, I was sitting here saying yes.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Go find that stuff. 200 times. Which is and you say, except for this session, if there's any slight difference in what it's trying to like, I just want to grep anything, right? I don't care. Grep anything, and it will still ask for permission if it's grepping a slightly different thing every single time. So. I wish there was other than bypass permissions, which can be kind of dangerous, I wish there was a way that I could say something in between, right? Because
mine has
if I'm on accept edits will still ask for permission on everything except making a change because you're on a work tree. So it's like, well, make the changes on a work tree. It's not that dangerous, right? And so that's why you could say maybe not do that if it's on an actual branch or something, right? But the ask permissions, that asks you everything. Except edit still asks you so many things as it's trying to gain context. It sucks. I do wish there was something better than that, something in between. But I've gotten to where I just bypass permissions because I've never seen it ask to do anything outside of gather information. So anyway, and it is such a pain to sit here and babysit it and say yes over and over and over and over. And yeah, I don't know if you can how that works with.
Same thing. It will ask you.
See, I'm pretty sure with GitHub Copilot, it asked me if it could do it generally. So like, when I did a project with it did ask me, can I run this PowerShell command? And that was the PowerShell command was to go get anything that had certain keywords in it, right? And then if I said yes to all, then it said, okay, well, I don't need to ask for permission for that same PowerShell command, even if what I'm looking for is different, right? So it did not ask me nearly as much in the Copilot agent mode.
Yeah, that's the most annoying part. Is I'll get it going, and I'll go to get a drink. I'll come back, and it'll say allow. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. So anyway, I at first was like dying to have a plugin, and I was using Copilot with Claude Sonnet because I was finding Claude was doing way better with our code base, especially as I used him more and filled out the markdown for it. But the more that I'm using the independent agent, the more I'm liking it. I'm like, and I don't think that I would go to the. I think it sucks because it's nice to have in here to like, if I were starting here and then when I was doing my own references, if I could just continue collaboration within here, that would be the ideal. But I don't see any way of doing that. So.
You gotta make it sticky somehow.
Yeah, I mean, unless in Writer, in the Claude command line one, like, unless I can change my conversation to the same one I was in, right? Then maybe. But again, as far as I can tell, this doesn't have any interaction with the UI. It's just launch the terminal from here, so. I don't know.
Yeah, once you install the plugin,
well, anyway.
Run plugin.
Okay.
That's weird.
Thanks, appreciate it. Thanks for the. That's
Yeah.
a lot.
Let me know what you guys want to do. I'll start signing up. Okay.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Cool.
Bye.
Thanks, Dan.
Yeah.
All right, really briefly, let's go through stand-up. Because we've got to get to the deploy here.
Right, okay. QSET, migration, still working on that. Pull request reviews, and that's it. Good enough?
Yep, that's good. Chuck?
Hey, yeah, I worked on some pull requests.
Any
and
blockers?
worked on- No,
Okay,
yeah,
next.
I'm good.
That's all I care about right now. If
Yeah.
you got any blockers that we can help with, then great. Otherwise, we'll just
Yeah.
keep going.
I'm good. Cut planning. Still moving forward.
Okay. I'm going to share my screen real quick. I just want to review the PRs that I'm planning on. I thought I might start doing this. I don't know yet how it's going to work, but I thought I'd try to, when we're going to deploy, I wanted to just review the PRs that I'm targeting for the deploy, so that we can just be all on the same page. So these are the ones that I've already completed into our release candidate. I didn't think that this one was going to be a problem. If anybody sees anything, let me know. But I didn't see a problem with either of these. I thought they all look good. This one is actually really urgent to Charlie, so that's why I've got that in for today. These ones I have not completed yet. I wanted to review. I think that it looks like this one's now been fully reviewed. Any concerns with any of these going live?
Okay, let me go.
Well, this one's not been reviewed yet, but just based on what we talked about.
Those are already included in
No,
the
these are active.
RC. Okay.
These are active. I have not completed them, so I can move them out.
Okay.
The ones
I would
that
say
are completed are these ones.
Yeah, the ID filter clearing, that looks safe enough.
Yes, agreed. Okay.
Yeah. Leave notification alone just in case, because you want to make.
Notification.
Yeah, leave that alone
Leave this-
just in
don't
case.
do this one.
Yeah. I don't know until it gets reviewed.
Yeah,
right?
okay.
There's no
I'll
urgency,
move that one
I think.
back up. Yeah, you're right. Move that back up to master.
Okay.
This is the only one. Yeah, I guess. Yeah. Stop queue
Yeah,
processing after next job. We okay with that one? Everybody okay?
He said that maybe you should try
On that first.
running that on LED
Yeah, good
and
point.
flagging
That's
that
right.
on.
I think he was going to do that, so I'm going to just move
Okay.
it back to master. We'll
Yeah.
move it out of today's. Where did mine go? There we go.
One on DEF CON.
This one looks really good.
Yeah, I feel good about it.
I think I feel good about this one too. The indexes sounded like that was okay.
Yeah.
This is the only one that hasn't been reviewed yet.
And we need to exercise that
So
that
we're
deployment.
Yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and change this to master. I'll do this next week. Okay, so we are going with these. Okay. All right, thanks. I'm gonna run the tests, and we'll have to skip any other stories here. I know there are a couple that we need to talk about, but we'll do it tomorrow.
Okay, awesome.
Is that all right, Rebecca? Anything urgent? Yeah, we'll just have to wait on it. Okay, thanks. Okay. All right, thanks everybody. Bye.
Bye.
Yes.